All right, we're going to try this again. Florida ballot initiatives. This year there's six of them. And how they get on the ballot. What these ballot initiatives do is they change the Florida state constitution in order to enact law. And there's two different ways they get on the ballot, where you go in on the regular general election ballot and you vote on these initiatives. They legislatively refer them. This is where the state legislature refers an initiative to the people of Florida in order to change the Constitution directly. There's an initiated constitutional amendment where the citizens of the state will gather signatures on an issue and put that to the rest of the state to be voted on. For the initiated constitutional amendment where the citizens get votes, whatever issue you come up with, whatever issue you decide needs to be fixed through constitutional amendment, you have to get signatures, and signatures are based on 8% of the votes cast in the last presidential election. So the last presidential election was in 2016. 8% of that vote would be roughly, what, 8, 9 million? Or no, 7, 8 million ish, 6, 7 million. 6, 7 million votes cast. I'm just estimating. Should have looked it up prior, but I didn't. So 6, 7 million votes cast in 2016 give us this proportion. So they actually have to go out and get 766,200 signatures on a ballot initiative in order to put it before the rest of the state as a constitutional amendment. They'll do this. They'll have campaigners going around door to door in neighborhoods. They'll have people standing on busy street corners. I've seen them outside the doors of Publix. I've seen them at festivals where they're walking up and down in festivals, talking about the issues with a clipboard, getting people to sign up. These days, there might even be electronic signings. I haven't seen one come through my email. I got a pretty heavy spam filter. But I can imagine that there might be electronic signups as well. But that's the way a citizen-initiated constitutional amendment comes about. Legislatively referred constitutional amendment. Florida legislature refers amendments to the voters. I think this is kind of a cop-out. I mean, we vote in these legislatures as representatives of the people. They should just legislate if that's what they're going to do, rather than take something that they might think is controversial and refer it to the people. However, this deals, the two on the ballot this year deal with the Homestead Act, and I think that might actually need to be dealt with through constitutional amendment rather than through the Florida legislature. Anyway, Florida legislature refers it. They just take one of their bills and they stick it on the ballot. So this year there's six in 2020. It was coming up on Tuesday. So there's six of them. The first one deals with suffrage. Remember, suffrage deals with your right to vote. So this changes the Florida state constitution to state that only U.S. citizens who are 18 or older can vote in federal, state, local, or school elections. It's not really going to change much, I don't think, because the actual Constitution says every U.S. citizen. It's changing every to only. I'm not sure what difference that makes, but it's on there. The second one, minimum wage, increase the state minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2026. This is a phased in. It'll go up by $1 next year, and then another $1, and then another $1 until it reaches $15 an hour by 2026. Third one, elections, establishes a top two open primary system for state office primary elections. It's also called the jungle primary. No party affiliation is recognized during the primary. It's just everybody goes and votes for every candidate, and the top two vote getters go to the general election. If you want to see how well that works, look up the California system. This is what they use in California. You can look how well it works there. And Amendment 4, direct democracy requires voter approval. Approved constitutional amendments to be approved by voters at a second general election. What this, it makes it harder for the Florida state constitution to be amended. You bring it up. So for instance, if this was in effect, you would bring up this issue on this election cycle, and then on the next election cycle, in the general election, you would vote on it again in order to make it a constitutional election. Yeah, that's about it on that one. All right, taxes. This talks to the Homestead Act. The Homestead Act, as you know, there are what's called snowbirds, where many people come down in the winter to hang out and live in Florida, and then they go back up north for the summer months when it's not all snowy. The Homestead Act gives a tax break for people who live here year-round. Currently, it's only 2 years tax break. This would extend that to 3 years. And then also, on a separate amendment initiative, it allows the property tax to be transferred to the surviving spouse of a deceased veteran. So, for instance, say you're a veteran or active duty and you come down here and you buy a home and you get the homestead tax credit, and then you die, or you go on deployment and die before the 2 years are up. This would allow that tax benefit to be transferred over to your spouse. So that's the 6. Remember, November 3rd, that's this coming Tuesday, is why I'm redoing it today instead of waiting till Monday. November 3rd is the election. If you're registered to vote, go out and vote. Remember, that's one of your civic duties. This is another one. Be informed, right? If you're registered to vote, go out and vote. If not, still research, still be informed about the issues of the day. Thank you. Oh, if you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section, as I wouldn't have known that, because I didn't check the audio for whatever reason. I wouldn't have had known if the audio was not working if y'all hadn't left a comment. Thanks.